Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here with Black Flag Racing TV. Great race for you tonight. It is the second round of what proved last week to be an awesome competition in the Open GRB tournament. We've got 7 in tonight. Plus myself showing in the lobby again for some reason. We do need to fix that with Polyphono, we really do. So where are we? Before we start, we've got what? About 5 minutes or so left of the qualifying session. So let's have a quick look and see where we're at in terms of the league table. Let's have a look. So that's where we're at the moment. That is the league table for everyone to see. Unfortunately not me, I can't see it for some strange reason. But I will find it and I will go through it with you. So there we are. So yeah, first round was at Dragon Trail Gardens. That was won by Star Groot. And he is obviously top of the leaderboard. Avalon in second. PM10 Racing third. I think that's VR46 in fourth, who won't be with us tonight. He's on holiday. G-Mac in fifth. TJ, followed by Frowny. Aussie Rooster, who may or may not make it. He's having dinner with the family, so might not be able to make it with us. Grizz Troopers, I don't know if he's making it. He said he might do. And of course, Old Man Jay, who is out there this evening. So there we go. That is everyone, all the runners and riders for today. So let's have a quick looky see who we got out there. There he is. There is Star Groot, Wiggy. I think we're just going to call him Wiggy from now on. I'm going to change his name to Wiggy in all the league tables as well. Otherwise, people are going to look and think, who's this guy? I see him on track all the time, and I haven't got a clue who he is in the league table. So there he is. He is running the Focus. In fact, most people have opted for the safe bet, which is the Focus. It's a quick car, let's be fair. So there we go. There's PM10 Racing. And if you want an alternative perspective, I'll give you the overview. PM10 has got his own stream with just his race. He's also in the Focus. There's Frowny in the RCZ, which is an interesting choice. Again, he obviously likes this car. I have tried it. I don't like it personally. But it does look pretty cool. I've got to say, it does look cool. There's TJ, also in the Focus. Big fan of that livery. Very understated, very simple, but pretty damn good looking. There's G-Mac also in the Focus. So it's almost a same car Sunday kind of scenario, with everyone rocking the same motor. Avalon also in the Ford. Old Man Jay, what's he rocking? Oh, let me guess. Oh, yes, it's the Ford. So yeah, everybody running the Ford. If I was on, I'd be out there in the Audi Quattro, just because I'm special like that. In terms of lap time so far, Wiggy, the fastest man out there, with a 1:24.4. I have seen PM10 knock out a 1:23 today. So be interesting to see if he's still got that kind of pace in him. And I'm going to apologise in advance if you chat and I miss it, because my laptop is miles away from me. Since I've done the setup, I haven't moved everything around to make it more convenient, but I will do at some stage while I'm fiddling around with it all. So we've got 7 runners out there tonight. Shame we didn't get a few more, but it's still a great race, this one. Everyone works on different strategies here. As we saw last week, the entire race changed in the course of the last lap. So anything can happen. It's an hour-long race. The settings are quite simple. I say that. If they were simple, I'd bloody remember, wouldn't I? So it is 1 hour. They're starting the early morning with thick clouds. Of course, the balance of power is on. We don't want anyone having an unfair advantage with the car. Full start check from the grid. The grid is decided by this practice and qualifying session. And at the moment, Wiggy is leading the charge. PM10 Racing, I think, is second. But there's no way of really telling, because it doesn't store any times for anyone to see, because polyphony is stupid. Tuning is prohibited. The boost is off. Slipstream is real. The struggle is real with the slipstream. Visual damage only. There is a competition coming up, starting tomorrow actually, which is GR3, in which there is light mechanical damage. So that will be interesting to see if people can keep the fuck away from each other, really. Tyres are on times to wear, with hards being mandatory. So how long? People are going to be able to run a long, long time on those hard tyres. In fact, probably not even needing to change because it's such a low tyre wear. However, with the fuel being on time 6, that's going to be a really, really important thing today. And that's really going to play into the hands of those who are good with the fuel saving. Or is it? Is it going to be a bit of a hindrance because they're saving fuel, trying to drag out the length of time on the hard tyres? When actually what they should be doing is just burning through it and getting rid of those tyres and get because it's only times 2 wear, getting on some racier tyres and using them. But we will see. It's 50 litres to start, 3 litres per second refill, and of course NOS is turned off, as you would expect. So the race will be starting at hour, which is in a couple of minutes, not too long. So, no VR46 today. He's on holiday, so he's not going to be able to increase his points in this race. Wiggy there, currently looking like the fastest man on track with a 24.4. PM10, can't see his time because he jumped in the pits and Polyphony got stupid. Who else we got? TJ out there. TJ, can't see his representative times either. See, this is a bit rubbish from our aspect, as we can't see what times people are doing. We just saw, who was that flying off the track in a hail of dust? That was TJ actually. Avalon in focus, expecting to be pretty quick today. I think it's going to be an interesting battle because we've got GMAC, we've got Wiggy, we've got Avalon, we've got PM10, Frowny. They're all quick guys, and that's nothing against TJ, who's also pretty quick at times. It's going to be interesting who's got the strategy. Now, normally we would expect to see PM10 putting in blistering pace, but he was only 3rd last week in this competition. GMAC also very, very quick. We saw just how quick he was last night in the Mazda Roadster at Tokyo. That was a phenomenal performance from him. But he's got to save some fuel today, possibly. So that could be something that plays into everyone's hands. So we'll wait and see what sort of pace we're looking at. As we see GMAC just coming out of the pits. 27.1. Looks like he's struggling to dial this car in. He did say earlier, actually, he was struggling a little bit with it. So can he find some pace? Or are we going to see GMAC struggling more around the midfield? So everyone is here. I think said they were going to be here. I think we're just waiting, actually, for what? I don't think anyone else is in, so that's it. We've got 7. Yeah, total of 7. 7 signed in, 7 in the lobby, so we're bang on. Exactly what we need to see. PM10 worried that no one can see him. I don't know if you're watching the stream while doing your own stream, mate, but we can absolutely see you. You are there, and the helicopter is following you around the track as we speak. Lots of lovely advertising on that car. So we are, a couple of minutes from qualifying? 28 minutes in. I'm assuming the room started at 8 o'clock. It started there or thereabouts. So at the 30-minute mark, we will start the race. So what's coming up? Well, not a lot to talk about at this stage. There we go. Race is about to start. So here we go. Full start's going to be punished. We'll talk about what's going on later. Let's start from this point. See who do you think is going to get away well. Let's PM10 second. So Avalon Shadow 3rd. So we're right. GMAC didn't dial in. GMAC in 6th place. So there are the lights. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. We're waiting for that light to go out. Do they get away? And they do. They get away very well. Avalon up into 2nd. And would you believe it? I've got that bloody issue again where I can't change the camera to the overall camera. What a crock of rubbish. I'm going to have to jump out quick. Sorry, guys. Sort it out, Polyphony. You are a bunch of useless cunts. Right, there we go. So we're back. There is Wiggy in the lead from Avalon's Shadow. Wiggy got away well. Avalon with a great start. And already these two pulling out a bit of a gap from PM10. In fact, where is PM10? PM10 is at the back of the pack. So we're trying to get the bloody thing working. I've missed PM10 having a massive, absolute massive doozy. And he's at the back of the pack. GMAC up to third. Started from 6th place. A really good start from him. TJ up to 4th place. Frowny drops down to 5th. Old Man J up to 6th. PM10 3/10 behind. Already trying to chase down Old Man J and get back into this race. As you see them go around the corkscrew for the first time. This is lap number 1. It is a 60-minute race. We are half a tank of fuel. We're expecting to see them pitting probably somewhere around lap 4 for the first pit stop. Lap 4, lap 5. It's quite a quick fuel depletion. So we expect to see it dropping out pretty quickly. But there we go. So, end of lap 1. Avalon Shadow is now in the lead. He's overtaken Wiggy. And unfortunately, I missed that. This is the problem with this bloody thing. He is ahead of Wiggy now with GMAC in 3rd. Everyone moving up the order. Avalon Shadow absolutely dialing in this Ford Focus in the Group B. So Wiggy already dropping 1 second behind. Now we know these two are very good at saving fuel. So if out front there and they can save fuel in that position, it's going to be very difficult for the guys behind to make any inroads into catching them. They may catch them on the track briefly, but if they've got a lot more fuel to run, then this is going to be a really interesting race. PM10 opting to start on the hard tyres. Now, I don't quite know what the decision is there. I can only think that he's opted to do that to get those hard tyres. Oh, and he hits Frowny. PM10 off the track. Frowny also off the track. And PM10 hits him and does the right thing. Actually, he's pulled over and let Frowny go through. I would have put that down to more of a racing incident, to be fair. I think that was unavoidable because Frowny was having an accident. But that is great sportsmanship from PM10. Absolutely great sportsmanship. Hats off to you, my friend. But he does go around Frowny after Frowny goes off the track. If there were bonus points to give for sportsmanship, you would get it. But you won't because there's not. But no, that was brilliant there. But anyway, as I was saying about him on the hard tyres, everyone else has opted to go for the softs. But I think PM10's got a quite clever strategy. So Frowny going in really, really early. What's prompted this decision, I think, is just he's had a bad first couple of laps. So he's decided to get this out of the way and maybe catch them on the track later on. As for PM10 going on hards, it can only be so he doesn't have to use them anymore. The hards being the mandatory tyre today, I think his choice is to burn off that hard tank of fuel with the hard tyres on and then be racy later on the softer compounds, knowing that the people ahead of him all have to use the hard tyres. Has Frowny opted for the hards? He has. So he's going to do the same thing. He's got on those hard tyres. He's going to get them burnt and out of the way. He didn't put any more fuel on board. He's just got rid of those mandatory tyres. So he's opted to change the strategy early doors. Which, if you're going to change it, the early as you can is the best way to do it. But he has now given PM10 a pit stop on him. And PM10 is struggling with those hards to keep it on the road. So it looks to me like this might be a very wise choice. Going to be a tricky track for these cars. Old Man J up to 5th at the moment because PM10 and Frowny are struggling behind. He's not too far beyond GMAC. GMAC is 1.3 seconds up the road. And they are all still in this for the top 3. TJ in 3rd place. The front 2 not pulling away significantly, but there is a bit of a gap. 3.8 seconds to Wiggy, with a further 2.5 up to Avalon. Avalon burning his fuel a little bit quicker than Wiggy is. Is he trying to build a bit of a cushion before the pit window? No, I said lap 4. It shows I was actually bloody wrong. Nobody's going in lap 4. In fact, they're probably going to drag out to lap 6 or maybe lap 7. So the tyre's actually holding out, the fuel holding out better than I thought, considering depletions at time 6. But we're sub 125 in laps. Avalon Shadow the fastest lap so far with a 125.6. Wiggy almost a second slower, 26.4. 26.4 also from TJ. GMAC with 27.4. Fourth place, and the best he could muster so far is a 27.4. This could be a very difficult race if he can't up that pace. Old Man Jay with a 27.5, but consistently 27.5. If he can churn out 27.5s on a regular basis with the pace of GMAC at the moment, where he had a poor lap at a 29.5, you know, we haven't got several representative laps to work that out on, but it's looking good if Old Man Jay can keep up that kind of pace. So we look there, Old Man Jay completes another lap. What's his lap time there? Doesn't give it to me. So yeah, another 27.5 from GMAC and a 27.4 from Old Man Jay. So he's getting faster and he is catching GMAC at the moment. Avalon Shadow out front, he's opened that gap up to 3.3 seconds. He's on the softs. He's starting to burn through that fuel. So he's getting that fuel burn down, going for the first pit stop. I imagine it'll be end of lap 6 from the looks of the fuel burn there. Wiggy, maybe lap 7. Maybe he's going to hold this out a little bit longer to lap 7. TJ, another lap 6 pitter from me. GMAC, I think, is going to come in here. As we see, Old Man Jay, where did he go? What happened there? Well, he's disappeared. He's had a big spin. It looks to me that he's caught the gravel there on the right-hand side, and it spun him off into the wall on the left. So much for consistency. PM10 is 20, I said 20, it was 21 seconds behind. That's down to 10 seconds after that big spin from Old Man Jay. So PM10 with less work to do than previously. He's not lapping faster than 27.7 at the moment though. But he is on the hard tyres and getting those mandatory hards out of the way. Ferrari has cut the time down. It was 29 seconds when he came out of the pits on lap 2. He's got that down to 25, just under 25 seconds. So he's lapping a little bit faster at the moment. Old Man Jay opting to go into the pits. Good choice. He's got in. Is he going to put the mandatory hards on? I think he is. I think everyone's going to want to get those out of the way nice and quickly. They are not very good tyres, especially not for this track. This is a horrible track for cars that are sliding because there's so much gravel about. So Avalon Shadow, he's, as I said, lap 6. So he's going to be powering his car. As you power this up the hill here towards the corkscrew. Very difficult corner in these cars. And we'll just see how he handles this. He gets on the brakes nice and early, gets turned in. It's actually a beautiful, beautiful turn around the corkscrew. Good demonstration of how it should be taken. Little lift here, back on the power, and then you're pulling over to his left-hand side. You're going to hit those brakes, get the car turned in, and then back on that power again as you head down towards the final turn. But we see there he pulls into the pits for his first pit stop. Wiggy's staying out. Or is he? Yes, he is. Wiggy is staying out for another lap. So the gap's 7.1. TJ also staying out for another lap. So my estimation of lap 4, lap 5 was way off. We're mostly pitting on lap 6 and 7. We did have a couple of outliers, a couple of anomalies in that, but they were more for tactical reasons and because their pace wasn't great at the time anyway. Excuse me, just get some water on board. So Wiggy is he's lapping at sort of 27, mid 26s, mid 27s. TJ again mid 26 to mid 27. PM10 nothing quicker than a mid 27, but he's on the hard tyres. He's now up to 3rd. He will be pitting and will not have to use the mandatory hards again. So he will be a little bit racier. Interesting to see if this tactic has worked. Avalon coming out of the pits now. He's on those hard tyres. He hasn't fueled all the way up, but he is going to get some run out of that. He is currently the fastest man out there by some way with a 25.6, 125.6, which is a very, very racy racing lap. A racy racing lap. There we go. GMAC just coming out of the pits, also on the hard tyres. 127.4. Has been lapping around the mid-27s, but not consistently. Certainly not consistently enough. Old Man Jay was very consistent, mid-127s, until he has an absolute nightmare on lap 5. Big spin, chose to go into the pits then, probably a wise choice. His outlap was a 134, but that's because you've got that really long pit exit. As you see PM10 go in, are we seeing Wiggy and TJ go another lap? Certainly looks to me like they are. They're going another lap. So PM10 in with the hards, getting rid of those hard tyres now. Will he opt for the mediums, go a little bit longer, or the softs? Can he get the softs to go as far as he needs them to? That'll be interesting. Avalon Shadow in third. At the moment, Wiggy and TJ have a pit stop on Avalon. So this could be... This looks like, certainly the undercut doesn't work at Laguna Seca. I haven't timed the pit here. I probably should have done. It's kind of my job. I will do. I think, do you know what I'm going to start to do? Is I need to start timing pit stops and stuff and coming at you guys with some actually accurate facts and not just blagging it every time I jump on a stream. I'm sure you enjoy it, but it can be a pain in the arse if I'm blagging it because I often don't know what I'm talking about. So Wiggy then comes in the pits end of lap 7, beginning of lap 8. TJ has run out of fuel and he's got a long way to go without fuel. So that more than a pit stop advantage he had over Avalon is actually creeping right down. In fact, so much so, I think Avalon's going to catch him before he even has a chance to pit. Will GMAC's 24 seconds back. He will catch him in the pits, but will he catch him before the pits? TJ's in big trouble here. Big trouble. Avalon goes through. TJ still got the last turn to do before he can pull in. He now starts to pull into the pits. But that was disastrous. Avalon is through. GMAC, 32 seconds it says there. So clearly he's had a spin somewhere because it was lower than that. Is he able to close up? Will he get through before TJ gets out? TJ's still not even at the pit box. And here comes GMAC. He's definitely through. So GMAC through into third. What about Old Man J? Old Man J at the moment, under some pressure from PM10 Racing. He's not going to give that up easily. The pace actually between the two wasn't that dissimilar. Old Man J now on the hard tyres. PM10 has come out on the softs. So they have both got through, or have they? Where is TJ? TJ's still in the pits. So Old Man J and PM10 both through on TJ. That has proved to be an absolute disaster. Ran out of fuel, tried to follow Wiggy, tried to take it longer, and just couldn't make it work. And there he is now, coming out of the pits in 6th, with Frowny bearing down on him at speed. Is TJ going to get up to speed before Frowny catches him? That's the question. He's going to have to. He's 4.6 seconds behind Jay. PM10 is now around him. He is 20 seconds back from the top 3 at the moment. A lot of work to do for PM10. It doesn't look to me at this stage that starting on those hard tyres has been a great tactical decision. We know that he had a coming together with Frowny, which obviously didn't help either of them, and he had to hold back, and he didn't have to, because for me that was a racing incident. But all the same, he did. He held back and allowed Frowny to retake the position, which was incredibly sporting. But Frowny currently languishing in last place. So out front, Wiggy is 3.5 seconds clear on those racing hards from Avalon Shadow. So the undercut works very, very well for Wiggy on Avalon. Sorry, the overcut worked very, very well. Undercut not so great for anybody. The overcut didn't work for TJ because he ran out of fuel. So unfortunate there for TJ. But he's got a lot of work to do. He's already cut that gap down to 2.4. That's 1.2 seconds. Because it looks like... And Jay's off the track again. struggling to dial in that car, that Focus. Just a little bit too aggressive in those corners, clearly. But he is 11 seconds now up from Farney. Can he keep hold of that position? TJ having to work his way back through the order. Was in second place before the pit stops. Ran out of fuel. Had to coast home for a lot of the lap. Clearly wasn't monitoring his fuel too well. Either that or he just forgot to pit. PM10 now up into fourth. He is 5 seconds clear. So TJ's around Old Man J. 5 seconds clear is PM10 Racing. And GMAC is 14 seconds up the road. And lapping, at the moment on those hards, not great. Not great lap times compared to PM10 on the hards. On the softs, PM10's doing the low 27s. Looking after those tyres, looking after that fuel. Avalon Shadow for me, he's the one to watch. Did lose out a little bit in the with the overcut. Winning earlier than Wiggy. Wiggy with the overcuts. Got himself out in front. He's now just under 3 seconds. But Avalon Shadow is 30 seconds clear of GMAC in third. So clearly a lot of work to do for GMAC. And he picks up a penalty, which is not going to help him because as we know, the penalties on GT7 are brutal. Absolutely brutal. So he's 31. That's 31 seconds behind. In front of GMAC at the moment. And let's ride on board with Wiggy as he starts a lap. Sit in the passenger seat. So Laguna Seca, you have to get a good exit out of that last turn. You go under the bridge and you just let the car drift over to that left-hand side. Here it drifts to the right. You get on those brakes. You want to brake early, get turned in. Get it in third gear, actually. It's interesting. Let it drift wide there on that power. Drifting left and then again on the brakes. Nice and tight on the apex before you power away from that corner. Only a little lift there, a little touch of brakes maybe, just to get you through the corner. And then you are back on that power again. Under the Mother's Bridge, that second board there is where you're braking. And your apex is a lot later than you think it is. So you're turning later than the corner suggests that you should. You keep right, again, the number 2 board, get it turned in, use all the road there. You can go right over onto that green rumble strip. Past the rumble strip, onto the green actually. Then you want left-hand side, point the car away from the corner, on those brakes. Then you want to get it turned in, change that direction, and on the power again, under the WeatherTech bridge, with a little lift going round to the left-hand side here, before you power down to the penultimate corner. Again, braking at that number 2 board, catching that apex, then power past those pits, drift to the right-hand side, same thing again, number 2 board, turned in, and that is a quick lap. It's a pretty quick lap. That's a 127.5. Well, actually, that's quite slow. We're 28.1. That's a 28.1 lap around Laguna Seca in these Group B cars, or particularly in the Ford Focus. So, Wiggy, 5.3 seconds clear now. While we were on board, Avalon had a slow lap. Is he starting to ease off the pace? He's 32 seconds clear of GMAC. GMAC is very steady, mid to low 130s on these hard tyres. So got some work to do to stay ahead of PM10 as that gap is closing and closing fast. I said I wasn't sure about this tactic of hard tyres first. He's already starting to prove me wrong. So there he is on those soft tyres now. He ran the hards for the first stint. We're coming up to the 20-minute mark, which puts us 1/3 of the way through this race. So 1/3 of the way through this race means we are going to lap 39 or thereabouts. It's a long, long way to go. We out in the lead. That lead is extended to 5 seconds. Avalon Shadow, 33 seconds up from GMAC. GMAC now only 5 seconds clear of PM10. PM10 7 clear of TJ. TJ, who ran out of fuel before his last pit stop, giving himself a lot of work to do now to get back up the order. Frowney has made his way around Old Man J. Finally got up, closed that gap and got up there. He has still some work to do though to catch up with the pack. He had a coming together with PM10, which for me was a racing incident. PM10 did catch him from behind and did the sporting thing and gave him the place back. But they were both off the track, and I think it's one of those things. But, you know, sportsmanship is sportsmanship. And if there are awards for that, I would hand one out to him immediately. Big slide coming out of the corkscrew there for Frowny. But he is now chasing off after TJ. Remember, he's used those hard tyres. Old man Jay's on them now. TJ's on the softs. He still needs to use the hard tyres. PM10 has used them, and he's already giving G-Mac some trouble. I say giving him trouble. He's not troubling him that much because he's passing him. Passing him on the inside and holds it on the outside here into essentially turn 3. It's turn 2 because the first turn's one. First couple of one big turn. So that's turn 2, sorry. And PM10 up into 3rd place. Has he got the pace? He's lapping at the minute at low 126. Avalon Shadow, low 127s, although with a nominal lap of a 130 in there. Wiggy with 128s. So at the moment, that gap is going to start to come down. Wiggy and Avalon Shadow currently have a pit stop, a very quick one, but a pit stop on PM10 at the moment. Do they utilise that now? If I were Avalon Shadow, I would look at that time differential on those hards, and I would pit now while I have a relative advantage in terms of track position, because he needs to get rid of those hards. The fuel is under a quarter of a tank. For me, the wise choice here is to pit now. He's got 37 seconds, and the gap at the moment not closing down too much. Put in a hot lap, get in the pits, get off those horrible hard tyres, and then your second pit stop's out of the way. So even if PM10 does catch you, he's not going to be that far ahead, and he's got significantly more work to do and a pit stop to come as well. Wiggy, same position. Look at the time behind. Get rid of those hard tyres. Get on the softs. I think he's going for it. It looks to me like they're just upping the pace for this lap. Avalon Shadow still with the fastest lap with a 25.6, which is a phenomenal race lap, to be fair. Sorry, just getting another drink on board. So there we go. They're both staying out. Although that gap opening up still? It's 37. It is still opening up. So are they going to go racing for one more lap? Well, they are, clearly. They're going to have to pit at the end of this lap anyway. Personally, I would have gone in the previous lap. But these guys know what they're doing. They're faster guys than me out there, and they are it. There is Jay getting rid of those racing hard tyres. He's in the pits, just filling up the fuel now. Frowny staying out on those softs. He's already used the hards. TJ coming in for the hard tyres now. So, G-Mac on the hards, still with a quarter of a tank of fuel. PM10's used them. He's on the softs. He's got half a tank. And he's up the road after Avalon and Wiggy. But despite them being on the hards, he hasn't been able to close that gap. They're both going to come into the pits. It's going to be touch and go just how close PM10 is when they come out after the pit stop. But bear in mind, he will have to pit again. So will they, but he'll have to pit maybe twice. So he definitely, I don't know if he can make it to the end. But as I said, this is what we had last week. Last week we had a multitude of different strategies. And throughout the race it played out in different ways. And it isn't until the end of the race that you see how these strategies have played out and finished. I mean, at the moment, clearly the overcut is much, much stronger than the undercut here. But will that change later on in the race? Will that change when everybody's used those awful hard tyres? When everyone's on different fuel? Well, let's see. We know Avalon's in. We know Wiggy's in. We're on board with PM10 now. Let's see, from a passenger perspective, how close he is to overtaking these guys in the pits. So he just passes the pit entrance now. They are both still in there. He comes round the final turn. Will PM10 take the lead? Bearing in mind that one stage in this race, early doors, he was plumb last. Plumb last. He's through. G-Mac, it looks to be, G-Mac is through as well. Avalon Shadow still in the pits. Wiggy still in the pits. So actually this massively long pit stop is an arse of an age to get out. Didn't get a chance to see the pits on. I meant to say that actually. How close is GMAC? We know that PM10's through. Overtaking prohibited. Somebody is off the track. Who's had an issue? PM10 had a crash. Can't see any issue there. Possibly he was off the track. But GMAC 8 seconds behind now. He is 6 seconds up from Avalon. Avalon has had his second pit already. GMAC's going to have to come in a couple of laps time, probably around lap 18. PM10, he can hold out for a little while. How long can he hold out? Can he do this with one more stop? If he can, that hard tyre early doors has proved to be an absolute brilliant idea. And to crash as well on the second lap, that would be a brilliant masterstroke. Still not convinced it's going to work. As I said, you can't tell how this plays out. GMAC looking racy at the moment. He's just up in that pace a little bit from the mid-30s. He's decided to burn off the fuel for this last stint on these hard tyres. So Avalon now back on those soft tyres. Has gone for just under 3/4 of a tank. Wiggy slightly more in fuel. They've changed places in the pits. That difference in fuel has allowed Avalon to jump him. So again, it's the overcut. It's the one that's in last that seems to get out first, even when you go in on the same lap. Now, we know they put slightly different amounts of fuel in, but a 1.2 second difference is that's insane. I think everybody has the same issue, clearly, and it's not at the top of the list of things that Polyphony need to look at. But some of the pit in lengths here are ridiculous. If you're driving this racetrack and you're driving into the pits and you're driving to your pit box, it doesn't take 30 fucking seconds, right? It takes 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. You're in a slow car. You can't have signs that say the real driving simulator and then have nothing there. It doesn't represent racing at all. Absolutely no representation at all. So it's not the real driving simulator, it's the real nothing simulator. So pull your finger out, Polyphony. There's a lot of people getting pissed off with your inadequacies. You create brilliant graphics that we're looking at here, and brilliant engine sounds, and beautiful cars, beautiful track recreations, and you can't do a simple fucking lobby or sort out a pit stop. It is a little bit ridiculous, really. But, it's all about money for you, isn't it? It's not about fixing things that people want. Anyway, rant over. Where are we? PM10. 14 seconds clear of Avalon Shadow. Just starting to see signs of wear on the front of those racing soft tyres. We say that Wiggy, as I say, PM10 14 seconds ahead of Avalon. Wiggy gets through and is just under a second up the road. So, despite coming out behind him in the pits, Wiggy's superior pace, I say superior pace, Avalon Shadow's got the fastest lap and was faster than him on lap 18. So clearly a little issue there at the beginning of lap 19 to allow Wiggy through. What about GMAC? GMAC just finished that second pit stop now. He's coming out. Is he coming out ahead of TJ? TJ just coming down the straight now. He is now on those hard tyres. And he's the only one left that's still got to run them. So he's going to be struggling while everyone around him now is going to start ramping up the pace. And Frowny with a great overtake there. What we would give for a replay in that moment. Absolutely brilliant overtake from Frowny. We just see him disappearing down that inside. Brilliant move. So Frowny up into 5th on TJ. GMAC does get out ahead. He's 8 seconds clear of Frowny, here, who is 1.3 seconds clear of TJ. So Frowny starting to recover from that smash on lap 2 with PM10 Racing. Old man Jay, 22 seconds back, but he's now on, he's on the hard tyres as well. So he is running the racing hard tyres. Is he going to run them long? Is that the plan then? To run them long? Because he's about to be late. He's already been lapped by PM10. He's about to be lapped by Wiggy. Those blue flags will be coming out now. And Wiggy and Avalon, there they go. Here we see them. Let's go have a look at the car view. Let's do it from Avalon Shadow because we see both cars then. As we see them heading up towards the corkscrew. Now, not a good place to be getting lapped. These guys will hold back. They'll let him get round the corkscrew. I think it'll be on the start-finish straight by the time they catch him. Everyone through there cleanly. Wiggy just ahead of Avalon Shadow. Just a little touch of brake there from Wiggy. I don't know if he was worried about hitting Old Man J there, but they're all through and getting much, much closer to Old Man J. Old Man J knows he's got to pull over at some stage. Gets round the corner here. Loses a little bit too tight on the inside, but stays on the inside. Wiggy and Avalon cleanly through, or are they? Old Man J, I was a bit worried about the pace there, but Avalon, so close in that slipstream, he could climb into the boot of that Ford, but in the end just backs off a little bit. It decides to use that as a fuel-saving exercise. Very, very smart move there actually from Avalon. So Wiggy ahead of Avalon. They are 14.5 seconds back from PM10 Racing, who at the moment, despite his coming together with Franny early doors, looks to be, for me, running away with it. Absolutely running away with it. Battle for second at the moment seems to be the big battle on the pitch. Wiggy, Avalon, Shadow. 51 seconds back now to GMAC. GMAC not showing the same pace we saw of him yesterday in the Mazdas. Maybe we should have let him drive a Mazda here today. But, you know, that's the beauty of different cars, different courses, different tactics. Sometimes you just have to drive in a different way and it just doesn't suit you so well. I don't know what it says about me because I'm rubbish on every track. Frowny is going racing now. He is having none of that running from the back stuff. He is now up to 5th, 5 seconds ahead of TJ. Easily burned past TJ on the start-finish straight. TJ the only one left, still running the hard tyres. With Old Man J at the rear, 27 seconds back at the moment. Lapping in the low 130s is TJ. Old Man J, the 31s, 32s. If he were to jump on the soft tyres soon, as we just passed the halfway point, would that benefit him in some way? Would that help him by getting some soft tyres on and putting some pressure on TJ while TJ is on the hards? Old Man J didn't have to run the hards again. He opted to do so. So clearly he felt he had some pace in the car. Or he's got an alternative strategy. He does have a lot more fuel on board. Yellow flag somewhere. Frowning off the track. With Professional Hooligan of the Month on the front of the RC's head. But then TJ has the same cock up. Literally a lap later. Moves over, a quarter later. Has to move over for PM10. For PM10 through. Avalon Shadow starting to open up a gap now in second. Has got himself past Wiggy into second place. Wiggy back in third. GMAC in fourth. Still 48 seconds back. Frowny had a wobble off the track. TJ gets through. One corner later. Literally one corner later. TJ does the same thing. Frowny says, thank you very much. I'll have that position back. Yippee-ki-yay. He's back in 5th place. 19 seconds now is the gap to GMAC in 5th. As PM10 finally relinquishes the lead and jumps into the pits for... Will it be his final stop? Will he take this car? A monumental 11, 12, what? I don't know, 20 laps? Can he take this car 20 laps on one tank of fuel with one set of tyres? Or will he have to pit again? And if he does, how much of a pain in the arse is that going to be? Because Avalon and Wiggy went much, much longer into their second stint. Their second pit stop. It would be their second stint. And on their third stint, you see Wiggy just lapping, Avalon and Wiggy just lapping TJ there. So TJ dropping well down the order and not finding typical pace on the GRB car. So Avalon Shadow at the moment, in control, absolutely in control of this race. I did say I wasn't sure about PM10. I didn't think he could go, you know, and at the moment it looks like I'm right. But as I said, it's the strategy thing. Because their strategies are so vastly different, you just can't tell. And this is one reason why I love these different races. You know, we do the GR4, we do the GR3, we do the GR2, and you do those over and over and over again. And, you know, it's 50-minute race and it's the same tyres and it's the same fuel and it's the same this and the same that. So pretty much every strategy is exactly the same for everybody, every single race. And so basically you might as well just have a sprint race and put it down to who's the fastest. But where we've got these different races now and it's mixed up and the settings are different every single race, strategies have to change race after race after race. And this is where you start to see where it's not just about how quickly you can get a car around a track. It's about how quickly can you get the car around the track while preserving your tyres, while preserving your fuel, and while pitting at just the right time to catch your opponents out. And at the moment, the overcut is very, very strong here. So staying out a lot longer and coming into the pits is proving to be the single best strategy at the moment. But we are only 36 minutes into this race. We're on lap 24. There is another 15, 20 laps to go in this race. So don't count anybody out yet. Avalon Shadow at the moment, 2.6 seconds clear. And will be jumping in the pits somewhere around the end of lap 26. There is Wiggy. These two have changed places out front a few times today. He is probably about sort of half a second slower in terms of fastest lap time. But they're both running the same car. Both seem to be on a similar strategy. Although Wiggy seems to be running that a little bit longer. They both went into the pits at the same lap last time. Wiggy went longer the first time. He seems to be going longer this time. They are 47 seconds clear of PM10 at the moment and going very quickly. PM10 almost filled up the car to the brim and went on those racing softs. Now, does he feel he can take this car 20 minutes on that fuel? I don't think he can. I don't think he can put in the kind of pace needed to close that 47-second gap. So, excuse me. Although, it is a pit stop. There is a pit stop still to come. So you never do know. Right, so Avalon Shadow's in. This is where we will tell just how long it takes. So PM10 was 50 seconds behind. He's 50 seconds behind Avalon at last count. Wiggy goes through. He stays out for another lap. Where is PM10 in relation to Avalon? Well, he's not even at the corkscrew yet. He's got some way to go. So Avalon is not at the pit box yet, even though the end of the pit lane is right there. Ugh. So PM10 comes up to the corkscrew now. He's into the corkscrew. He turns left. He turns right. He's got this left-hander. He's got a right-hander and another left-hander before he passes the start of the pit straight. So Avalon is now in the box. Tyres are on. Fuel is going in. Just how close is PM10? PM10 coming up to the last turn. He's coming down the pit straight. Where is Avalon? Is Avalon still in the pits? He is still in the pits. So it looks to me that PM10's getting through. He's 7 seconds ahead of GMAC. Is GMAC going to get through? So Avalon Shadow, so it just goes to show, this pit stop is fucking ridiculous. Sorry, I had to say, it's ridiculous. Bears no resemblance to a pit stop at Laguna Seca in terms of your entrance in. You lose 20 odd seconds just driving into the pits. So there we go. So actually, that 48 seconds means nothing. Avalon Shadow, for me, can go to the end like that. I know what he's like on fuel. I know how well he can look after tyres. He can take that to the end. He may choose not to. He may choose to go racy. But he's only 4 seconds behind PM10 now. We know PM10 has to stop again. We know Wiggy is going to come in this lap. We know that 50 seconds wasn't enough for Avalon Shadow. So Avalon Shadow went in with a 50-second lead and came out 4 seconds behind PM10. So this is key now. PM10 has got it down to 46 seconds. 45 seconds. Absolutely melting it. He is not saving any fuel or any tyres at the moment. He is closing down that gap, and he is proving me wrong, showing me that this strategy is the strategy that works. Wiggy, we'll see him come round these last succession of corners now. So PM10 is crossing the start-finish line. He is 45 seconds. 45 seconds that is behind Wiggy. Avalon Shadow, 4 seconds behind PM10. GMAC, 5 seconds back. Frowny, just coming out of the pits, 17 seconds behind GMAC as he comes out. He was. Is he still 17 seconds? Well, he's actually being lapped by PM10. Horrible time for him to come out. But it does stay wide. PM10 goes narrow, goes through. What's that gap to GMAC? It's 1 minute 20. 15 seconds ahead of TJ. TJ's now on the soft tyres. Can he go to the end? Not sure he's got enough fuel. So Wiggy is in the pits. And we see the end of the pit lane there, but we see no Wiggy, even though he's driven in. PM10, 46 seconds. Now, he was in this position when Avalon went in. Avalon was 50 seconds clear. He came out 4 seconds clear of that. By that reckoning then, and he's pulled out 2 seconds on Avalon already, he should be somewhere around 9 seconds clear of Wiggy. And Avalon potentially could be through as well. This will be interesting to see. And I was just leaning back in my chair with the wonder of it, and I realised that when I lean back in my chair, the mic doesn't move with me as it used to. So I apologise if I went all quiet and thoughtful then. I'm neither quiet nor thoughtful. So PM10 is through. Wiggy is where? Wiggy is coming out of the pits. Where's PM10? They are racing. Look at this. So we see PM10 coming out of the pits. We know, it's coming round by the pits. Wiggy is out. Wiggy just out. He's not. PM10 had the pace. PM10 had the pace and got through. But only just. Wiggy have a very, very short stop. He is going to go again into the pits. He has decided not to give up track position. He feels track position is key. And he takes back first place. And off he goes again up the road. He is now just 1 second. 1 second clear of PM10 Racing. PM10 Racing 8 seconds up now from Avalon Shadow. GMAC is 4 seconds further up the road. 1.9 seconds, 1 minute, 19 seconds back to Frowny, who is 10 seconds. TJ starting to make a chunk into that 17-second lead that Frowny had over him. It's now down to 10 seconds. TJ back on the soft tyres now. He did quite a long stint on those hards. Went on much later on the hards than anybody else. Old man Jay did 2 stints. He's only actually on his third. His third stint on the hards. Clearly he feels that this is going to benefit him in some way. I'm not entirely sure it's the right idea. I think he should have gone on the softs and gone for pace. Gone for pace over longevity. Because he can go to the end. But potentially second two, well, I don't know actually. I don't think TJ's got enough fuel on. So there is potentially something to be done there for old man Jay. If he can stop that gap opening up quite so much. Because at the moment TJ is lapping very similar to the guys out in front with the mid 26s. With old man Jay in the mid to low 31s. Or 30, between 30 and 31. Frowny a little bit slower. That gap is 10 seconds. It is 17 seconds to GMAC. GMAC is 57 seconds back. So almost a minute back now from this battle up front. And the battle up front, Avalon Shadow, 18 seconds back from PM10. He is, I think, going to try and go to the end. We are just coming up to the 3/4 mark of the race, which will be around lap 30. So we essentially are a 39 to 40 lap race here. So Avalon Shadow coming through the corkscrew now. He's dropped right off the pace. Bear in mind, he was the fastest man on track with a 1:25.6. He's now operating at a 1:37.0, which was a very poor lap from him. So actually, he didn't drop off the pace. He had a very, very bad lap. Clearly came off somewhere. PM10 sticking with Wiggy at the moment. Wiggy's going to have to pit again. So is PM10. But it's going to be... I remember I said the overcut was strong here. The overcut seemed to work. At the moment, that's what's going to happen. Is PM10 is going to overcut Wiggy. Can he make it work? He was at the very, very back of the pack. Had a coming together with Frowny. Pulled over and let Frowny through after catching him. So was plumb last. And has had to actually put this hammer down now. And went for a completely out there strategy. Into the pits really early. Long before he needed to. Got rid of those horrible hard tyres without any fuel on board. Just literally used the last of the fuel on there. Got those hard tyres out of the way. And has gone racing ever since. And he's putting in some really good pace. It's really consistent pace. It's been mid to low 26s all the way. Wiggy at the moment, similar kind of pace. But in order to stay out in front and keep track position, he had to underfuel, which means he will have to come in again. Avalon Shadow had a bad lap. Dropped his pace right down to the 29s. So clearly was looking to try and take this all the way. And still can. There's only 15 minutes left. 15 minutes is about 9 laps around here. There or thereabouts. Between 9 and 10 laps. He can do that on that fuel. The tyres, they're going to be angry at the end, but they can certainly make it that distance. He's in quite a unique position, actually. Is that he's not under any threat from GMAC. GMAC is 55 seconds down the road. So he can afford to drop off the pace a little bit, save that fuel, save those tyres, stay out, and let the guys in front have to pit again. And we know just how horrible the pit is here. In order for Wiggy to get out in front of PM10, despite having over a 45-second lead when he went in, he had to underfuel. It's the only way he can manage it. Avalon, 50-second lead, put a lot more fuel on board, found himself back in third place now. And he was in the lead when he came in. So there we go. So GMAC maintaining the distance from Frowny. So he's in that bit of no man's land now where he knows that he hasn't got the pace to catch those top three. But he also knows that he can't really be caught by Frowny. Does that allow complacency to set in? Or does that let you relax a little bit? And does relaxing cause a complacency to set in? And a mistake. Because a mistake is enough for that 17 seconds to dwindle and Frowny to be on him like a rat on a drain pipe. And there we've got TJ. TJ did start to close that gap. It was at 17 seconds. He got it down to just around 10 seconds. And Frowny now opening it back up again. TJ will have to pit, I think. As maybe will Frowny. It depends on where he fuel saves here. Old Man Jay's going to the end. He's decided to go on those hard tyres. And he is relying on the guys in front of him going into the pits. But the problem is going to be pace. Because if he can't up the pace, then he won't have a pit window. Because at the moment, they're lapping about 3 seconds a lap faster. So the pit window, we know, for even a splash of fuel, is about 42, 43 seconds. At the moment, TJ's 37 seconds clear. So if he does have to pit again, and he resigns himself to 6th place, he may well be looking at doing it shortly and getting it out of the way. Certainly if he knows that Old Man Jay's going to the end. But how would he possibly know that? Unless he's tuned in, which I don't think he is. So Wiggy opened up to 6 seconds now. PM10 dropped off the pace a little bit. But we know Wiggy had to go racing. Wiggy's got to come in. And he's going to come in at the end of lap 33. Which will give him exactly 10 minutes of racing. So 10 minutes of racing is going to be about 6 laps. That's it, just 6 laps. And then we're at the end. So almost, we started and then it was action and then all of a sudden it's the end of the race, almost. 7 seconds is that difference. PM10, is he he can't do 6 laps is not enough with that fuel he's got left. That is though, Avalon Shadow is going to the end. That gap is 26 seconds. It is not over yet. I told you I said that the difference in tactics was going to make a difference here, and we wouldn't know how it panned out until the very end of the race. And this is how it's shaping up now. Avalon Shadow just dropped off that pace a little bit. He let PM10 go up the road. He let PM10 burn those tyres. He let him burn that fuel. He was quite happy to sit in there because he knew he wasn't stopping again. He was going to the end. Gap to GMAC 50 seconds. GMAC has gone hammer down. Is it because Frowny's getting closer? Very well could be. Frowny has now got that gap down a second to 16.3. There we go. Wiggy's in the pits. PM10 off up the road. He has to pit again though. He can't. He cannot possibly take that car to the end on that fuel. And if he can, what an absolute deserved win. But he can't. There's no way. There's 6 laps of this race left. 6 laps left. And you need half a tank of fuel to do 6 laps here. No way. No way. I'm calling it now. I've said it before and I was wrong, but I'm calling it now. There is no way PM10 is taking a quarter of a tank of fuel and those tyres to the end of this race. So, Avalon Shadow in the driving seat now. He is a pit stop behind PM10 Racing, and PM10 Racing has to go in again. So, Avalon Shadow did lose his fastest lap. Wiggy just putting in a 1:25.1 in that lap before he decided to go into the pits. So his intentions are clear. He's going racing. He's got 5 seconds on Avalon to chase on Avalon Shadow. Don't count him out yet. He's not giving up this race either. So Avalon Shadow going for the long game, the long approach, the saving his tyres, the letting PM10 Racing burn his out and go into the pits. Wiggy's gone for the balls to the floor. Let's have a go. Being a bit brave, coming out, gaining track, keeping track position from the lead, not letting PM10 jump him in that pit stop, making sure that he was ahead when he came out, and he did that well. He's now down in 3rd, but he is going for it, absolutely going for racing. He's got plenty of fuel to get to the end. Well, I say plenty. I think he's underfueled a little bit. But we'll see. But GMAC is going to the end. GMAC's 42 seconds back now. So he is closing that gap a little bit on the front 3. But Frowny's not closing on him. And TJ, despite initially closing the gap on Frowny, starting to drop off. So Frowny opened that gap back up to 18 seconds. Old man Jay, 1 minute 27 behind. He's pit again. He's gone racing softs. He's having a go. He is absolutely having a go. Now, has he left it too late though? For me, yeah, I think he has. I think he needed to do that probably 5 or 6 laps ago, if that was the plan. But we'll see. At the moment, it's a difficult task. Because TJ is his target, and TJ is coming up to lap him. So his job now is to try and... He's got to unlap himself from everybody and catch TJ. That's what he's planning to do. Can he do that? The gap is very, very large. So how are we looking? PM10 Racing, 30.5 seconds clear of Avalon Shadow. Avalon Shadow maintaining that 30-second gap. But he looks in his mirrors, and what does he see? He sees that. He sees Stargroup. He sees Wiggy. Wiggy on a charge. Wiggy knowing that a good result here could put him in the lead of this championship. Avalon Shadow trying desperately. Now he's got to save that fuel a little bit. But he is saving those tyres quite well. Just they come round to lap TJ there. So they're going to be coming up to lap TJ. They're going to be coming up as well to lap Old Man Jay again. Is this going to come into play? Are these guys going to be slowed down by the back markers? So there we go, Avalon Shadow. The gap to PM10 is 28 seconds. Has PM10 dropped off the pace, believing he can make it to the end? Has he listened to me and thinks he can that he can do it? I don't know. No, I'm still calling it now. And I know you go. I knew you couldn't. So there he goes into the pits. The distance is 28 seconds. Avalon Shadow is 28 seconds behind. Wiggy is 1.3 seconds behind that. And Avalon Shadow off the track. Off the track at the corkscrew. Wiggy through into second. They are side by side. Wiggy with the momentum. So Wiggy takes second place. And now they're off charging after PM10. PM10 still not in. There he is. Pulling into his pit box now. Where is Wiggy? Just coming into the final turn. Avalon Shadow straight behind him. PM10 looks to me, he's going to get no better than third. G-Mac's too far back. G-Mac's not going to benefit here. Wiggy is though. Wiggy's through. And look at this, they are side by side. Look at that. You can almost see, I don't know if I can get the view here. There is PM10 coming round out of the pits. Avalon Shadow through. Wiggy's through. PM10 just coming out of the pits. And he's going to have to deal with a back marker to get through. So, great tactics from these guys. Little bit of a slip from Avalon Shadow at the corkscrew. Let's Wiggy through. But let's face it, Wiggy's pace was absolutely phenomenal. 25.1 before he went into the pits. 25.9, 27.5. He's absolutely melting this car around the track now. He doesn't care. He's not paying for his fuel. He's not paying for the rubber. He knows that he's only got a couple of laps left to go. We've got what? I think we're gonna make lap 40. I think the pace towards the end of this race has just pushed us up a little bit further than I thought we would go. Is that, however, going to be a problem for Wiggy? So Wiggy did have the pace, but remember he didn't put a lot of fuel in, and he's got less than Avalon Shadow. PM10 has gone racy too. So this is a three-way race to the line. Wiggy, Avalon Shadow, 1 second back. PM10 Racing, 2 seconds back. Nobody else is in this. Any one of these three can still win this race. Could it be joy for Wiggy with a job well done and a good save at third for PM10? Or will it be an absolutely astronomical championship winning performance from PM10 to be last and to steal first place with an outrageous strategy? We are about to find out. We'll have a quick look at the rest of the field, but this is hotting up here. G-Mac in fourth place. He's not going to get caught by Frowny now. That distance has not changed. Frowny miles ahead of TJ. That distance has changed a lot. TJ is out of that battle. He is miles ahead of Old Man J though. Old Man J. Although to be fair, Old Man J is starting to put some pace in. We never know. Right, so let's have a look. PM10 round Avalon Shadow. Avalon Shadow off at the corkscrew again. The pressure just telling. And PM10 is through into second place. So rather than it just being about pace, Avalon's made a couple of mistakes in these closing laps that first of all cost him the lead and then cost him second place. So he's back in third now, but he's got a bit of pace in him. Remember, he had fastest lap for a long, long time. Is he now going after them? PM10 is after Wiggy. He's got some pace, got 25.1 in him. PM10, we haven't seen anything like that. Low 26s, but no, certainly no low 25s from him. But he is all over the back of Wiggy like a bad rash on a cheap prostitute. All over the back of him. And has Wiggy got enough to hold him off? This isn't going to be the last lap, or maybe it is actually. Yeah, I think it is. This will be the last lap. Lap 39. So, they can go pedal to metal. What's Wiggy looking like on fuel? Doing everything he can. A little nudge in the back from PM10. Drag racing up the hill to the corkscrew. Side by side. This is going to be a brave move. PM10 loses it into the corkscrew. Just tries to send it up the inside and absolutely fucks it up. Unbelievable move. So brave to try it there. What a move. Unfortunately, it did not pay off. Wiggy through, and it looks like Wiggy is going to win this race. Avalon Shadow chasing down, trying to steal back that first place. Don't think it's going to happen here though, But PM10, just aiming for first place, couldn't make that move into the corkscrew. Wiggy wins from Avalon Shadow from PM10 Racing. But you know what? Last week, this was one of the best racing competitions we've had. And again, it's brought some phenomenal last lap action. TJ not making the final lap. G-Mech and Frowny just getting through in time to complete lap 39. But what an absolutely phenomenal race. I mean, in the course of the last 5 laps, the leaders changed several times. Anybody of those 3 could have won it. And what actually won the race in the end was something I've been talking about a lot, is consistency. Avalon Shadow, couple of big errors at the corkscrew. And one allowed Wiggy through, one allowed PM10 through. And then again, we had the corkscrew, PM10 at the corkscrew. To be fair, it's less of an error and more of an incredibly ballsy move. And I think he knew if he didn't make that stick, he was potentially losing second. And for me, it takes some balls to do that. I mean, a lot of people would say, look, I'm going to race. I know I'm in second. I'll take those points rather than risk that move. But not PM10. He was absolutely up for that. Old Man Jay just coming home in 7th place. What a phenomenal race that was. Anybody that doesn't enjoy that really doesn't deserve to be watching some racing. That was brilliant. Saving that for posterity. But has to be said, congratulations to Wiggy. Wins that race with PM10 in 3rd place in the end. Avalon Shadow gets 2nd. PM10 3rd. G-Mac, despite not really having any pace today, comes home in 4th with Frowny in 5th place. TJ in 6th. And Old Man J brings up the rear in 7th place. What can I say? That was absolutely phenomenal. So we've decided our winners. So Wiggy was the winner there. Results will be up tomorrow. But tomorrow night we've got another fabulous race for you. By popular demand, I say by popular demand, by the demand of Avalon, who loves his GR3s and loves his Porsche. We have the European GR3 Open, the Black Flag European GR3 Open, which will be just European cars, European race cars, across both European and American Japanese tracks. 10 race series, 10 race endurance series, with double bubble points available when you are racing your car at home. There will be one home race for every single car. We are in a different place every time. So really looking forward to that, which starts tomorrow. Friday we have a night off. And then Saturday we're back to Black Flag bullshit. Round 5, we are at the midpoint already. We're at the midpoint of our opening tournament. That's where we've come. So basically, in 5 weeks, because that was our start. BFB was where we started, and that was 5 weeks ago. And all we had back when we started was that. We've gone from that to this, to races nearly every night. And then, of course, we've got Jay's wonderful tournament on Sunday. The Sunday on the Black Flag Sabbath. Shenanigans on the Black Flag Sabbath, should I say. So there we go, yeah, Shenanigans on the Black Flag Sabbath on Sunday. Monday again is free. We've got something in the wings for Monday, watch this space. And then Tuesday we're obviously back to the Garage Showcase. But there we go. So, phenomenal race there. Good win from Wiggy. Absolute ballsy dive from PM10, who I'm sure in his stream right now is analysing that very, very move. Good for you. We've got Avalon Shadow, Nick's 2nd place, by virtue of PM10 making that ballsy move. Great race from him. Absolutely held that out there for a long, long time in that final stint. But there we go. So I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag E-Racing TV. And it's been absolutely phenomenal. See you guys when was it? I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us.